All right, our top story on World DNA. Right-wing youth activist and influencer Charlie Kirk dies after being shot at Utah Valley University.
Donald Trump confirmed this on social media that Kirk has succumbed to his injuries. In a post, Trump wrote, I quote here, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead," illustrating the huge importance of Kirk. In his orbit, the US president ordered flags on government buildings to be lowered to half-staff until Sunday. Kirk was hit while speaking at an event. He was shot dead at an event in Utah Valley University. The video from the scene showed him addressing a large crowd when the sound of a single gunshot rang out. Kirk appeared to collapse in his chair before the camera swiftly moved and sounds of panic erupted in the audience. Only one gunshot was heard.
Investigators said they believe the single bullet had come from a campus rooftop fired by someone dressed in black in what appeared to be a targeted killing.
FBI Director Kash Patel said that one person was held on suspicion of involvement in the killing, but he was later released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Investigation continues, with Patel promising to continue releasing information in interest of transparency. A digital media tip line has also been released for information on the Utah Valley University shooting.
Hey, you're the man, dude!
To be able to interfere with the life of a...
Now, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen to this.
Prominent conservative media personality and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk has died after being shot during a speaking event at Utah Valley University. He was just 31 years old. Kirk was struck in the neck by gunfire from a nearby building during the kickoff of his American Comeback Tour, which included his signature Prove Me Wrong debate format, where he would encourage those who disagree with him to come to the front of the line and discuss various issues for a debate. Kirk rose to prominence as a teenager, building Turning Point USA into one of the most influential conservative youth movements here in the United States, and becoming a powerful voice for President Donald Trump, notably during his re-election campaign. His death has prompted bipartisan tributes. Flags are being flown at half-mast. President Trump, former Presidents Biden and George W. Bush all posted condolences on social media. The FBI is leading the investigation with a person of interest now in custody. They say a motive has not yet been determined. Kirk is being survived by his wife and 2 young children. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION. World is One.
All right, to discuss more, we're now being joined by Glenn Carl. He is a former National Intelligence Officer from the CIA, National Security and Foreign Policy expert. Thank you so much for joining us on WION A World is One. I'm sure you know what's happened. Charlie Kirk shot dead. What is your assessment of the situation? We heard a single gunshot in the videos, especially that are going viral on social media as well. Now, if I were to just quote something that Charlie Kirk had earlier said as well, it's worth to have a cost, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment. What's your take on the situation?
The details of the shooting, of course, I don't know any more than any of us. Although I think from Ms. Tehrani's report, there is an update, perhaps, that the person who was detained and questioned has been released now. What I think we can say clearly, though, is that America has been in, for a decade, really for longer than that, but certainly for a decade, in a descending spiral of increasing tensions, polarization, and violence. I'm not the only one who warned literally in 2015, since 2015, that the evolution of the political discourse was going to lead to violence in the United States. we've seen this. I think it's accurate to call this an assassination. We don't know who did it or why, but if a prominent political figure is killed in this way, then that qualifies as an assassination. But in just the past few months, there has been a shooting at the Centers for Disease Control by people who who seem to believe, I guess, that vaccinations were evil. And there was a firebombing of the home of the governor of Pennsylvania. And there was the murder of a Democratic lawmaker and her husband in Minnesota. There is, of course, the insurrection, the assault on the U.S. Capitol of January 6, 2021 by thousands of people, and all of the divisions that demonstrated and that have come as a result of it. So this is part of the fraying of the social and political fabric of the United States because of the tensions, frankly, that have been catalyzed and fomented by, I must say, Donald Trump from a decade ago up to now.
Carl, let me just come in there. You know, there is a very, very grave irony there, that the fact that Kirk was questioned about mass shootings in America, and I think seconds into his answer, he was shot dead. Keeping that as it is, you know, the way it is being, or the direction in which the reactions are going, the flags have been brought down to half-staff. You know, the left is being blamed. This is all coming from the US president. Do you feel this is going to get politicized before it has even concluded fully in terms of who the shooter is?
Of course, you know the answer, and I shouldn't be laughing about it because already it has been politicized from the White House.
Mass shooting is not at all being discussed. Please go ahead.
That's right. Yeah. It's politicized from the get-go, from the instant, and even before. And you're framing this in the context of America's national illness about weapons is apt. There are literally more handguns, more pistols in the United States than there are citizens. It has become, it being gun rights or the issue of gun possession and violence has become a religious issue, and that's not a stretch of vocabulary. Rationality and reason and facts are disarmed, to use an apt term, in this discussion. I even have had discussions with dear friends, colleagues who were in the federal government who worked for the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Department. Their job is to regulate all three of those items, who knew firsthand about the gun violence, and yet said to me in complete sincerity that guns were not a problem in the United States, because he was on the other side politically from where I think the listeners can infer that I am on this. So it's not a rational issue, and it's a huge social problem. And there have been 1 million Americans killed by handguns and firearms since the attack of 9/11. 1 million.
Understood.
And yet people think that there's nothing that needs to be done. Charlie Kirk was one of them, who vehemently argued against even a discussion really on what to do about gun violence.
Glenn, Carl, thanks so much for joining us here on World DNA. Of course, you know, you've highlighted what perhaps needs to be the biggest issue here of gun violence and mass shootings, but clearly that's not where the narrative is kind of heading in this direction. And if the shooter was at a building top, he was not shooting Charlie Kirk with a handgun. It was clearly something far more specialized than that, because it's with pinpoint precision that only one gunshot was enough to kill him. That was Glenn, Carl, joining us here on World DNA. Pleasure speaking with you, sir.